I'm just gonna record. You're a lot louder than that.
Yeah. What is up? This is Judge Mentalist coming at you live-ish from Las Vegas. We are here on my last day recording an episode, trying to figure out how we're going to put all this stuff in all these tags, because we met up with almost everybody that we wanted to meet up with while we were out here, including Big Sexy, who's with me.
What?
Yeah.
Live in person?
Live in person.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever this is hitting your ear holes. I hope you're having a good day. Now, once again, live and in person, Judge Mentalist and Big Sexy doing a live recording for you in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, here at the gorgeous Palazzo Casino and Hotel. Judge, how was your stay?
Well, overall pretty good. We met up with almost everybody that I intended to meet up with, which is great. We were all over the place. I mean, we've been to the Rio. We obviously were here. We've been to New York, and we've been to downtown for a hot minute. The Orleans last night.
It sounds like you had a big night Saturday. After seeing PNT, it sounds like you got an opportunity to. Now, did you hang out with PNT?
Yeah. So what happened was, and I'm going to be careful, even though I know that
none of them listen
to this, but I don't want to blow anything up. But there was something special going on in addition to Saturday being Brogan's birthday. So happy birthday to Brogan. We went to.
I really wanted to get the restaurant to sing a happy birthday, but they were so against any kind of birthday celebration.
Well, technically, the restaurant did sing happy birthday.
Yes, they did sing happy birthday on Brogan's birthday in vicinity where Brogan could hear it. And we all kind of adopted that celebration and kind of brought the energy of it, if you were, over to our table.
Exactly. So we went to a restaurant. We all met up for dinner before the Penn and Teller show. We went to Chef Kenny's, which is a vegan dim sum.
Shout out Chef Kenny's.
And there was another table there that was celebrating a birthday, and they sang happy birthday. And we figured, and Brogan was somewhat insistent, understandably, because I'm not the kind of person who loves to dive into birthdays and birthday celebrations.
I don't understand
myself.
Y'all people. I am all about it.
It's another day. In fact, how many years? My wife is in the suite packing to get out of here. How many years have I planned to travel to not be home around people during my birthday? It's been every single one since COVID, correct? Like the last birthday that I think that I was home for was my first 38th birthday. Yes. I decided that I was going to stop counting during the COVID years, and I would catch up eventually, but I would find a way to skip 45, because who the fuck wants to be 45? I mean, hell,
I did. I loved it.
No, 45 just got indicted. I don't want anything to do with that motherfucker, okay? So, we'll readjust.
I'm happy to be past it. I'm looking forward to 52. 52, magical number.
Yeah.
Right? I'm really excited. I'm going to hit 52. I better get decks of cards, people. Listeners, you understand me? I want.
He doesn't have an address to give you to send them to, but
for my birthday. By then we'll have some kind of Big Sexy Digital Nomad mailing shipping address.
You are always welcome to ship stuff to my law office, and it will sit and.
Never. Then I'll reach you when I finally
we
get back
can coordinate or whatever for any of that kind of stuff. In fact, you shipped me. This was funny. This was a fun joke because we were in the churn last week Wednesday. In fact, that episode just dropped.
Just dropped, right?
you shipped me a package for Brogan with playing cards.
Yep.
From your
My
various
collection, because I'm
escapades
getting rid of
here.
shit because I'm leaving the country.
And I had some. I'm thinking that at the time that I received that package, I was waiting on stickers, or I was waiting on lapel pins. I was waiting on something that was produced based on Brogan's art. And it may have actually been the new logoed Elkton Magic stickers and some other Judgmentalist stickers. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to ship these over to Scotland. I'm going to wait until I get my stuff, because basically the cost to ship would be exactly the same. By the time my stuff got into that package, I looked at the calendar. I contemplated the shipping time, because it takes
Ever.
Sometimes sometimes it can get there within a week, but sometimes it's longer. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to Vegas because you're going to Vegas, Brogan. I'm just going to take this stuff and bring it to you. So the joke when we got to the churn, which is where I gave this stuff to Brogan, which was all within the bubble mailer that you had mailed. Hey, Big Sexy mailed this from Vegas to Maryland so that I could bring it from Maryland to Vegas to give to you. And so that happened. We did that. So all of that stuff was much appreciated. And yeah, I got to give Wayne a stack of the stickers that were made based on
the comic
that Wayne did,
and Brett Loudermilk. Which again, thank you again, Wayne. By the way, wife again loved it, and it was cool for the wife to be able to meet Wayne, at dinner and thank him in person. That was a great moment.
If you've seen this art but haven't seen more of this art, and I'm talking about Wayne's, I'm talking about Brogan's, I'm talking about both of them. They're both, totally different styles, totally different format, but brilliant in their own right. Like the comics that Wayne does, I mean, he does comics for Piff. You'll see a lot of those. He's got Sad Pirate. He's got
don't look at me,
not so good at this, which I think is its own sort of thing.
Yeah.
And as you've noticed and observed from the Nilla at New York, or at Mad Apple comic, stuff can be done on request. He's got a Patreon. It's like $7. So like, if you need some art done, have at it. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you, from directly being part of that process, it's very, like, I provided him video that we took. He gave me a rough sketch. Am I going in the right direction? So you're not just getting something here. Hope you're happy with this. Good luck.
He really works to personalize.
He's a part of that. So he's at Wayne Gio on basically all the socials.
That's GIO.
Yes.
At Wayne GIO. Wayne WAYNE GIO.
And then obviously Brogan. You've seen a lot of Brogan's art from our
logo, our main page. If you're a follower of ICS, you've seen it everywhere. You actually see it now on the number one comedy album. Shout out to Hey Scoops. Congratulations on these accolades. Well deserved. Have you listened to the album yet?
I have bought it. I have not listened to it.
I bought it. I'm listening to it on the way over here. It's fucking good.
When I travel like this, or when I was on the cruise or any of that kind of stuff, my media consumption habits change. I will come into the hotel. I basically am not listening to podcasts, which gives me a nice catch up. So this kind of falls into that same category. Like a podcast, it'll probably get a thorough listen when I get home. I will flip through that TV. I'm looking either for Star Trek or Ancient Aliens. I will put that on. I will cross my fingers that it's on as long as it is. I'm not otherwise consuming normal media. If it's in the middle of a sports season that I give a shit about, which is few and far between, right, I don't even pay attention to that stuff. Like, I know that baseball started while I was out here.
If you say so.
I don't know. Right. I am aware that baseball started. And I think basketball and hockey are entering the playoffs. I did somehow pick up on the fact that the Vegas Golden Knights have clinched a playoff spot.
Oh, nice, good. That's good to hear.
And
I as much as I used to be into sports, I don't sports ball it as much anymore. I'm too busy with other shit. I got too many other things, and I used to be really heavy on NASCAR. I know that just surprised a bunch of folks. But yeah, I was really heavy on NASCAR. But then my driver, Jimmy Johnson, number 48, the greatest driver of all time, retired. Um, and it's like, once your driver retires, you're like, I could try to find another team to root for. I could root for his team, but I really wasn't connected to anybody else. And so I just kind of fell by the wayside. So now it's like every other sport. I hear about it. I get the updates. Every now and then I'll check out the highlights. I mean, I'm a Raiders fan in the sense that I've root for the Raiders, but they've been so mediocre for the longest amount of time. That's like, okay, I know that they're playing.
yeah.
Well,
you got to go to a game last season.
I
That's
did. I got to
cool.
go to the final game of the season, which was great and wonderful, which is amazing because I hadn't been to the stadium yet. So I got to do that. That was absolutely incredible. But yeah.
So check those guys out. Or, they've got that podcast that they do, which I think is temporarily
Brogan and Wayne, right?
Right.
What's the name of it again?
Hey, buddy, nice podcast.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks,
Pen.
Ben.
Yeah. Excellent. So we all saw Penn and Teller together.
Yes.
Great show. A lot of new bits. It was interesting to see they have a donut bit and the age appropriate escape.
Yes.
To see them live because I saw those on Fallon. They went on Fallon and they did. They showed the video of that one, and then they did on Fallon the donut.
Oh, okay.
Which a great acts. So I love Penn and Teller. I think they've been doing comedy for so long. It's insane that they still have new tricks that they can come up with.
They're unlike any other. So there's within the community there's like two schools of thought, between amateur and professional. An amateur is you doing different stuff every time for the same audiences. So, and it's not really like a hard and fast distinction, but
Right.
There's a separation between, let's say, me, who is opening shows in front of similar audiences. There's definitely a lot of overlap with my Upton Magic audiences. I'd say probably 20 to 30% of the people sitting in those seats were at the previous show. And probably 40% of the people sitting in those seats have been to a show of ours before.
Right.
So for me, it somewhat becomes important to freshen up and change that material that I'm doing in my 15 to 20 minute spot month to month. Because for the most part, last month we had the dual headliners, so I didn't do anything other than MC the event. Whereas a professional, let's say Matt Donnelly, for example, is doing ostensibly the same set, and he may swap some stuff in and out over time, which I think is normal, and every performer's got their own sort of time frame for which they want to freshen things up.
Right.
But like, for example, and the big difference, because I'll talk about me in the same kind of vein here, is that when I go on 10-day tour that Matt and I are doing at the end of July, if you're interested, that was announced on the Hey Scoops episode. You go to judgementalist.com/mindnoodler. That way you can differentiate those shows that I'm doing with Matt from any of my other stuff. That'll be late July. That runs from DC up through north of Philly.
Nice.
There, I will solidify my 15-minute set, and at each of those shows will do the same routine.
Right.
Now,
so same routine, different audiences.
Right. And that is more the norm for a professional. Like if you look at Matt King, who's been doing, who's been headlining on the Strip for 30 years or something like that. He was at Harrah's for a while, post-COVID, post shutdown. When he opened back up at Excalibur, which he's at now.
Right.
For the most part, as far as the structure of the routine and the bits that he's doing, it's the same show that he's been doing the whole time. Now things have evolved a little bit, but there has never been a full-on overhaul of, okay, scratch it.
Yeah, he
maybe
has
one or two stays.
signature pieces. He has a signature show.
Right. So the show's different every time because those types of shows, Matt's show, my show, very interactive with an audience, and the factor,
the ad lib aspect,
the ad lib X factor of dealing with live people in situations that they've never been before. That makes every time I do, some of the same pieces. Like there are some pieces now that are, okay, a staple of my existence. In fact, my staple gun routine that I've been doing, that is the right now is one of two pieces that if I'm doing a one-off, like, hey, come do one bit, like in April, I'm doing an open mic night up in New York City. The staple gun routine is what I'm taking. Because I get like 8 minutes to do one piece, and that's the piece.
Do your piece, right?
That is still, even though I've probably in the past year done that more than any other piece because of the one-off aspect of it, it's still different almost every time. And because you get those interactions with the audience. So unlike that norm, Penn and Teller, they change that show all the time. In fact, when
they are professionals behaving like amateurs.
And it's still like a 10 out of 10, even though I will say those bits that they're doing certainly evolve.
Yes.
And that's kind of the point of what they're doing them, because a lot of the new bits they're working out to perfect, well, that's not an accurate word, but to refine, to be able to record and do on Full Us. Because I can tell you that I want to say it was last October of 2021, I believe, I saw them do Whack-A-Teller on stage for one of the first times.
Oh, wow.
And and maybe they had been doing it for a week at the time that I saw it. And I was familiar with it from PSS and probably just from PSS.
Right.
And when I was there Thursday night, I was chatting with Matt about it, and Matt was telling me about some of the tweaks that they've done. And I was like, bro, it's totally noticeable because it was a good routine the first time I saw it, but it was a little flat compared to what it was tonight and the way that it evolves, because you can't really.
And that was the first time I had seen, I'd heard about it, but it was the first time I'd actually seen Whack-A-Teller. If you guys get to Las Vegas, you need to get tickets to go see Penn and Teller. It's an amazing show. And what I loved about this go round was this is the first time I'd ever heard Teller on stage, live, in an audience.
Oh yeah,
two pieces. This is the first time I had ever heard him. Not the first time I have ever heard him.
Oh,
but
Teller. Okay, yeah.
In a performance setting. I've of course heard him outside of performance settings, whatever. Which is people crack me up. They're like, "Is he mute? Does he? No, dummy." I mean, yes, he absolutely is. Yeah, Teller never talks ever in life. He goes through life writing shit down and gesturing. He's so good with his physical gestures that you understand exactly what he means with "shut up." But so it was great to have those little bits.
Yeah.
And done very, very well. Incorporated very, very well.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because Whack-A-Teller is one where you actually
you hear his voice. We're not going to ruin it, just a tease.
And then that transitions into the next time, which is really great show.
And what Penn told me after Saturday's show is that within the next couple of weeks, so I'm guessing that means mid to late April, there will be 3 or 4 other brand new pieces in the show for the very first time, because with them getting renewed, every time they get renewed for another season of Full Us, that generally means they've got to come up with 13 or 14 new closers.
Yep.
You know, the season's usually 13 episodes. You need an extra in case something goes sideways or just doesn't come out right for TV. And this time, though, they got renewed and the CW ordered 20 episodes.
20 episodes.
Which means they've got to have at least 21 bits to do that haven't been on Fool Us before. Some of them are in the show right now.
You know, it's do you listen? You haven't consumed any podcasts, so I'm pretty sure you haven't listened to the newest PSS with Hanjo on it.
I listened to
where he talks about the fact that he got 20 episodes and what that did for him.
No, I don't think I got that one. I did hear him talk about not getting his luggage for like 5 days.
Yeah,
I got that far.
This was Penn was talking about the fact that that he's doing 20 shows, and he said, I used to bitch about 13, coming up with 13, and he said then we got 20, and said, you know what that did? It made 13 look easy as fuck.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, perspective is a bitch, ain't it? Absolutely. So, question. Now, this time around, you came out to Vegas. You come out to Vegas quite often. Any new ideas or things that you learned this trip about traveling, or any ideas that you learned from traveling before that you applied to this trip? I'm
sorry, what was that? Let your wife pack. Which is actively happening right now.
That was from Mrs. Mentalist. She is packing.
She is a saint right now, packing, because we will wrap this podcast and then be on our way out the door within less than an hour from being done this podcast. Yeah. So, and she's not. I would be the type of person that would just throw all this stuff into bags at the very end. Like I would use that hour to do it, but she's not. She needs it done. She probably will make sure that everything is packed, ready to go.
And packed well.
Packed well. I'm seeing Ziploc bags, gallon baggies with stuff that's been purchased. Those suitcases will...
Speaking of bags, I was telling you off air prior to this, travel hack that my wife found, and we've utilized our vacuum bags. Vacuum bag, and it's, vacuum bags themselves are really inexpensive. You shove all your shit in a vacuum bag. You buy one of the cheap little camp inflatable that you use for like pool and floaties or whatever.
Yeah.
They have a vacuum feature. You pop that nozzle right on it. It's portable. It's a go. Sucks all the air out. It compresses all your stuff. It's amazing how thin clothes can compress.
That was the mystery when you were describing it, because I envisioned being able to vacuum seal all my stuff at home where I have a vacuum. Then what happens when I'm here? Because we're here. But right. The little camping
portable thing. Camping vac would work perfectly. It was absolutely wonderful.
And it doesn't wrinkle up your clothes?
No, I tell you what, I was surprised. I thought, I had a nice dress shirt, whatever, I put it in. Because all it does is just compress it. It actually damn near presses your clothes.
Oh.
If you fold them nicely, you throw your shit in all haphazard, then...
It's me.
Yeah. Then you're going to have wrinkled clothes, but that means you're going to have wrinkled clothes no matter how you pack. But if you fold them nicely, get them in, slide them in the bag, vacuum seal it, it goes really thin. You can put a couple layers in a suitcase. Like I said, we came out here we were planning to be out here for a week, and I was able to pack a week's worth of clothes, not knowing weather options, so I had to do both cool and warm.
Yeah, the weather's been wild out here.
Because Vegas is schizophrenic right now. We're enjoying the 4 days of spring that Vegas gets.
I feel like I'm in Maryland because we literally had like wind and rain when we first got here. Then we had a couple of nice days. And it's just like it's back and forth, and it's really kind of like, hey, what's it going to be this hour?
Yeah, today it's nice. It's cool. It's windy. Sorry, there's a wind advisory here.
That'll be good for getting on a plane.
Right. Yes. Right. It won't be too bad. Well, it shouldn't be too bad. Good luck. But yeah, I was able to fit all that into a carry-on. Right. Usually I have one big suitcase and put everything in. And then wife was able to get all her shit in the carry-on. So two people, two carry-on luggage for a week's worth of clothing. My wife probably packed a week and a half worth of clothing because she tried to match matches outfits.
It's Southwest Flight 2402. Not that this podcast episode will air if something happens to it, because with the timing I have and not having the password to to upload this isn't going to get scheduled until I get back east. So you won't actually hear this to know, but Big Sexy at least knows.
I remember.
So if something bad happens, well, that was us. It's been fun. This will be in the cloud, so it's probably recoverable somewhere. Who knows?
I'll figure it out if necessary. We'll get it taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was really cool hanging out with the folks from Hey Buddy Nice podcast and everybody seeing magic and spending some time in Vegas and one last go. It's funny. I'm on my as my friend and compatriot and colleague and karaoke sensei TJ said, welcome Big Sexy on his 12th farewell party, and he's damn near accurate.
So 12th farewell party there. If you make it to the churn, that'll be your 4th farewell episode.
I won't. If they record on Tuesday, I may stop by. But I think they record on Wednesday. We'll already be back in California.
Gotcha.
But I think we're coming back through. I have to check the calendar because update. This is an update for Big Sexy Blacksit 2023, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. And he's saying this in a slow announcer voice because he's stalling, looking for his calendar. All right, so we leave. Actually, I'll miss it if they do it because we leave Vegas here tomorrow, Tuesday the 4th, and we drive back to California, and then we are in California until the 13th. So I'll be wrapping everything up in California. Then we're driving from California to Vegas on the 13th. We'll be in Vegas on the 13th, 14th, and the morning of the 15th, which we're renting a car, then driving from Vegas to Denver, Colorado. We get in Denver on the 15th. That night, I'm going to doing a karaoke party with folks. I'm going to be fucking dead tired because I would have driven 12 hours from Vegas to Denver, but I'm doing it because I made plans already. Then we'll be there the 15th and the 16th. 16th, I'll hang out and whatever. And then on the 17th, we hop on a flight, and we're flying from Denver to North Carolina. And we'll be in North Carolina on the 17th, 18th, and then on the 19th, I rented a car. We're driving from North Carolina to Fort Myers, Texas. Fort Myers, the fort got me into Texas.
Yeah.
Fort Myers, Florida, with my friend Mariki. We'll be staying with her for one night on the 20th, and then we'll make our way over to see Billy and Larissa and hang out with them for a night, and then or a couple nights, and then make our way to the ship. And on Saturday, April 22nd, which is the hard date, non-changeable, we're not changing this. April 22nd.
It's a big-ass boat.
Big Sexy and his lovely wife, Nilla, are boarding a Virgin Voyages transatlantic cruise on the Valiant Lady headed to Barcelona, Spain. Hip, hip. And their little dog, too. And Fox is traveling with us. So that's exciting. And that's a lot of things happening.
So Fox is going with you.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's a service animal. So that's been the hardest part of this whole thing is figuring out what paperwork you need to, because you have to do different paperwork for every port.
Yeah.
Every country.
That's right. We did, because we talked about him getting that it was easier to get a passport for an animal in the EU than it is to get.
His passport. Once he gets to the EU, he'll have a travel passport, and it's easier for him to travel around the EU than it will be for us on a travel visa. Yeah, so
that's when you become the companion animal.
That's right. I'll be Fox's service human. We're gonna have so much fun. I cannot wait. But right now it's Jess and I'm letting my hair grow out so I can pull it out as we get closer and closer to deadline and closer to travel. But this was also kind of like a trial run coming out to Vegas again. We're in Vegas now, one because of the European contingency and Australian contingency that came through. You came here, and so initially this was going to be the start of our Blacks at 2023. If y'all remember back in the day, we talked about leaving California March 30th and making our way across the country via vehicle due to finances and a shift in seeing people in the Midwest that we're not going to see now. Because of flying, we made those kind of changes. And so, money is the deciding factor in all this shit. Like we don't have the capital we thought we'd have, so we got to make some changes, and that's just the way it goes. Sometimes that's why you got to be flexible in your planning and your scheduling.
I'm sure that you will encounter as you become an official digital nomad in what 19 days,
19
20
days,
days, 19 days.
Yesterday was 20 days. 20 days.
You will encounter far more scenarios to practice that flexibility.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. It's going to be a wild freaking ride. We're having to make those kind of decisions like, okay, so I'm not going to take 5 months worth of clothes and try to carry 5 months worth of clothes when, I have to understand that places will have washing machines and places to do laundry and whatnot.
This needs to go in one of those.
Packing, signaling and shit.
The microphone needs to go home.
Right.
No, you're fine. I mean, look, it's already been explained that you're in here doing the Lord's work. So,
if you hear things in the background, enjoy. You're welcome to have these background tracks. Take them out. Oh, also speaking of background tracks, shout out to Froyo.
Yes,
who has is working on other bumper music for things.
One of which is the Wrong Answers Only segment that we rolled out not too long ago.
WAO.
And so we've got great music to intro that.
Now we just need the questions.
We need the questions. So that's on you. So send us, and like I said before, you can do it one of two ways. You can either DM it to me at Psychic-ish, and that way Big Sexy doesn't see it. No, those are done. Those are done. That's why they're yes, that's why they're back there behind the trash. Yep.
You should tell me your story. It's not travel hack, but this man has ripped them all.
No, those aren't ripped. I just kept having a zipper malfunction with those shorts.
Are those shorts?
Yeah, I'm retiring a pair of shorts that the zipper that the zipper on these shorts, and they're just normal shorts, nothing special about them or anything like that. But like when I zip them up, I almost have to like zip it and twist it.
Is this a humble brag about the size of your cock right now?
It's not. We'll have plenty of opportunities for that down the road, but and that's more of the when I wear out the crotch area in some of my shorts. That's a different retirement for different articles of clothing.
That's just a humble brag that your thighs touch. I mean, I understand that what we're talking about, what we're going with.
Yeah. So anyway, that for whatever reason, that zipper and gravity are like locked in. And therefore the zipper's not locked in because it's just friendlier with gravity than most of my others. And I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? Forget it. And I always figure that if I'm on a trip without the vacuum bags, if I could find an excuse to at least ditch an article of clothing, whether that was because I've decided that this one is done, I've torn one, we got naked and ran through the hotel and then didn't recover those clothes, whatever it is.
Right.
Not taking something home helps all the time.
Because you also end up buying shit.
Yeah, which we definitely did this time. Yeah. We got some gifts from Brogan.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was going to have the reverse because I brought a ton of gifts. I brought the gifts that we talked about for Brogan, some stuff for Wayne. We brought gifts for the boys in the churn. I brought other gifts for the two characters in the clown crew, all of which got distributed.
How'd the cookie situation work?
I think it went well. So what I ended up doing, because we talked about how I had planned to do 2 characters and a clown, and the
True Vegas experience.
the rule being a guest there is that you have to bring dessert, and I think that became a rule because their first guest brought dessert,
right?
Because they
first guest set the precedent,
and because there's a meal, they eat different stuff that RJ makes while on the air. So it's not like it's a, hey, we're assholes, you need to bring dessert. It's a, hey, complete the meal that we're going to serve you. So it's kind of a give and take thing.
Yeah.
So my plan was to bring these burger cookies, which are a very Baltimore, very Maryland thing, out for them. And we were going to record the day that I got here.
Break down. I've been having a hard time. I've been too lazy to look it up. What the fuck is a burger cookie?
It's a brand, and it's just a small...
Burger's the brand.
Burger's the brand.
Got it.
And they're like a wafer type of cookie, and then it's got like chocolate icing. And when I say chocolate icing, I mean like frosting, but it's solid on top of them. So they're super rich. If you love chocolate, they're fantastic. Is burger
spelled like hamburger, or is a burger spelled like B-E-R?
I think it's B-E-R-G-E-R. And so their plans shifted, and they were like, hey, we're not recording on Wednesday now. And I'm like, okay, well, the boys at ICS record on Wednesday, so I guess I'll pop in there. We talked about on a previous episode, hey, is it a dick move to bring my desserts to the other podcast? Well, after further reflection, I was like, you know what? It's not difficult for me to purchase 2 packages of the burger cookies.
Right.
And, because part of it is the quasi-obligatory bringing of dessert to the podcast, but part of it is being an ambassador to the greatest state that has the greatest flag in the country, Maryland, to my friends here in Vegas. So it's like, you know what? We're just going to buy 2 packs of the burgers, and I'll track them down. So I ended up going to Mystera one night and met up with Jimmy, and because RJ is not feeling well and was not there. So those will probably end up on a future episode of 2 Characters and a Clown.
Nice.
As a dessert. I just won't be on that episode.
Right, you will be present.
Which is fine. I will be back
Maybe you can
out
call
here.
In. Maybe you can see if they can call, or have RJ call you, because I've heard them call folks.
Yes. And it would not I would not put it past RJ to do that in the middle of an episode. When they were trying to figure out what they were going to name the listeners, I got a call literally in the middle of an episode, and they caught me at such a bad time. And I was like, please don't air this. This is not good podcasting, because I was sitting there in just a bad form of.
Yeah, they actually edit their shit.
Yeah.
Which we don't.
So
you're hearing Big Sexy Digital Nomad raw and raw.
So if you ever get called by us while we're recording,
we're not editing that shit.
Make it good.
Getting out. Make it
good. Don't.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of people's phone numbers, so you might be safe.
Don't do what Penn did during the Celebrity Apprentice and start singing "Hey Jude" or something, so that there's copyright issues.
Right.
Because we don't even know how to cut it, so we won't cut it. We'll just let the powers that be find us and send us a cease and desist.
And then we'll talk about that in the next episode.
And then you'll lose that episode for everybody, so don't do it.
Right.
So yes, wrong answers only. We'll circle back to that. Yeah. We need your submissions for that. So you just send us like 3 questions, I think is the format that we're doing them now. We'll see what that evolves into, and send them to me either via DM on one of the socials, or if you send an email to bigsexynomad@gmail.com, just put wrong answers only, all in caps, in the subject line, so that Big Sexy knows not to open it. I will read them fresh and live. I won't even open it until we're on the air. In fact, I'm going to scroll through and make sure that we don't have one now, because I haven't, with me being in travel mode. I
haven't seen anything, but to be fair, I haven't checked either.
We got some. Yeah, no, not that. No new wrong answers only. So send us some. They will get read on the air, and of course, the first time that we did it is song parodies. Yes, if you've got a song that you would like to be the subject of a parody, and you've got, I mean, you could go so far as to have the theme and rename the song.
If you got a topic.
The topic. It could be.
You got a song title. Oh, that'd be funny to hear a song about this. I like this song about this topic. I will create it. I do it on the fly oftentimes. I create an entire musical based on that. I'm actually looking to create a parody album. Uh, um,
Which I think would be great. And look, maybe you want to write in an example of how this would go. And I'm just pulling this out of the air. Hey, I'd like you guys to, or Big Sexy, to do a parody song that is congratulating the ICS boys on hitting #1 on both the Apple and Amazon comedy charts. And I want it to be to the tune of the Proclaimers' 500 Miles. And then
I'd have to go
who knows if that
research the Proclaimers 500 Miles and exactly how that sounds. That's I would walk, right?
yeah.
I would rock 1,000 albums and I would rock 100 more just to hear the ICS boys reach #1 on the chart. What for? I don't know. But yeah, something like that. Much better than that.
It's
I
not
have
going to
time
be
sit
improv
down
on
and
the
write
fly.
it. It would not be improv on the fly. Right. I'll sit down and create. Now I got to do that one. Damn it, because you just
Well,
did it.
see, that's
This
how it works.
that happens. I can't. What'll happen is that's going to ear hole in me, and
Yeah, and then
I
you're going to get a
will-
car. You're going to drive back to California.
and then
Halfway there,
I'll
you're
get
sitting in that
there.
weird, traffic. You're going to be like, oh, fuck, it's this. Boom.
Yes.
You'll get that light bulb moment. And then by the next time or 2 times from now, before we record, I'll be getting an email with a link to the karaoke version of the song to upload into the soundboard.
Yes.
And then, boom, we'll do it next time.
Yeah, and I'll have an entire song written about.
So send those in too. Yours will become a priority over mine. So if you get one in here that we could roll with before
I finish that one,
before 500 downloads,
we'll record this. Just be aware, we're probably going to record this next week. So if you submit an email, and your emails so wait, because by the time you hear this one will already be created.
Yeah, probably because
by the time
the
this
episode drops, we've already recorded, right?
Right.
We've got one that's dropping in 2 days that we've already recorded.
We're
ahead of the game.
now officially recording a week and 2 days ahead of time.
Right.
Ahead of schedule. So this will drop.
Which we'll need because when I'm out here next time for the masterclass, end of April, I will be 9 to 5, basically locked down, and you will just have been on the boat.
That's when that shift in we will back up, and we'll probably have one or two more bank episodes.
Yeah. So I got a little production meeting. So yeah.
Production meeting. This is
yeah. So right, that first week that you're on the boat is the week that I'm out here for the masterclass, which is basically a 9 to 5 obligation. So I won't have West Coast daytime hours to record. You'll be getting your sea legs.
Right.
And, we'll probably do our first.
And I won't know internet situation until I'm actually on the boat and how well it actually works.
So we'll probably, as we're exploring the calculator, between now and then, we'll probably end up having to put one in the bank just in case the internet setup on the boat's not enough.
Right.
And then, it'd be great.
I'll be on the boat for 2 weeks.
How great would that be to be able to know that we can do one? Because I can tell you that on the Carnival lines that I was on, there was no chance in hell that we were doing that. It was not going to fly. The only way, and this would be insane, if we were to do it the way that the Postal Service recorded their album in the 90s, where I have a conversation with myself and leave blank spaces for you to respond and just record that. There'd be no way for me to get that audio to you because there's no way in hell I'd have the bandwidth on the boat to get it somewhere for you to then play and record your track over my track to complete that conversation. That would be ridiculous. It wouldn't even make sense.
At all. It'd be hilarious.
And
you have to script the whole thing and it'd be very weird.
Yeah. And we don't script any of this shit, so it would be like
Not
super
at
weird.
all. Not at all. Okay. Okay. So stream on parody song. I can erase that because that's done, and I will instead write the Proclaimers parody song. Boom.
And
All
listen, if anybody has any tips for us on how to make those, because I didn't listen to it from the broadcast.
It sounds rough.
If you can help us,
It was tough to listen to.
And-
But I don't like the sound of my own voice recorded, which is I guess I'm a little bit masochistic because I listen to them all.
yeah, I don't.
Eventually.
Hell, when I get caught up to the new ICS episode that I'm on for just little chunks, like I did not, go off on it, I will probably fast forward through those parts just because I don't.
Parts where you are.
I mean, I maybe not this one because I think I spoke for all of like 10 minutes, but like combined.
Right.
So it's probably not so bad, but I don't. The only time that I've listened to any of these episodes myself through like a normal streaming service has been when somebody's like, "Oh shit, all the audio tracks aren't there," or "This is wonky," or "That's jacked up," and now I've got
now you got headphones on,
my tech support sort of. I don't actually know what I'm doing. Sort of helmet on. And trust me, I'm good enough at this stuff that it's a helmet, not a hat. But yeah, so if anybody out there is like, "Oh, if you do this, it'll make it cleaner," or if you change this setting, or
if you have a different program,
or
we use Zencaster, so you know where we're at.
Hey, Big Sexy, you should switch to this microphone or this microphone setting when you're doing the songs, because I think that we've got the wherewithal generally to put things like that into play if we know. Like right now, we've told you episode 80. We'll get it right by episode 80. So this is what, episode 29 or 30-ish.
I think I want a t-shirt that says I'll get it right by episode 80.
Yeah, that's great.
Speaking of which, we need t-shirts. And I'm going to have a t-shirt made for Big Sexy Digital Nomad. I realize I need to start promoting more stuff, and this is more production shit. If you have any more additional stickers, anything like that for the boat.
Yes. I don't have much with me. Everything I brought with me, I gave
away. I figured
to Brogan. Right. Yes.
So yeah, just we need a upkeep, and I created I got some additional swag that I do plan to. I'm getting them soon. If they're really good, I'll order some more and send you some as well.
Sweet.
I got some magnets made because magnets are cool.
If you've got ideas for that kind of stuff, hit us up. How do they get in touch with you?
You can reach me at Who Is Big Sexy. Pretty much everywhere. If you're on the Book of Faces, take the S off of sexy and put it on big. Search me there. Send out a free request. I usually check out friend requests, and if you have mutual friends, at least my number is 10. If we have 10 mutual friends, it's an automatic. Sure, okay, we know some of the same people. I mean, I will curate your friend list, and if you're friends with people I don't really care about, then I may not do that. On the flip side, you can also send me a message and say, "Hey, I listened to your podcast," and I will. Oh, cool! Boom, friend request done, easily done. Absolutely, we're looking to engage with our listeners and increase our listenership. So yeah, hit me up at Who Is Big Sexy, and you.
Most of my stuff is psychic-ish, which is on the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, judgmentalist.com. If you want to go to some of those Matt Donnelly shows that I'll be opening for at the end of July, that's going to be at judgmentalist.com/mind noodler. That way, if you definitely are wanting to see him and I happen to be along for the ride, those differentiate. Those are shows that he's at. We've got a casino show coming. We've got Baltimore. We've got Philly. We're working out the details for Washington, D.C. We're going to be in Hampstead, Maryland one night. And
wow.
that one right there, when those tickets become available, if that's the one that you're targeting and that's in your zone, that is a small dinner theater with 30 seats. So
get your tickets
do
fast.
not delay on those, because I think everybody knows. I mean, we sold out Matt's show in Elkton with 168 seats in 24 days. So it probably won't take much time at all to sell out that 30-seater. So if that's what you're targeting, you can I know that they don't open up the tickets to that show until their next one is over. So if you want to communicate directly with me and say, hey, can you give me the heads up on when that Hampstead show is going to be available? Let me know. The Baltimore show, the Philly shows, those are already up there with the ticket links. I would imagine that this week or next, things are going to start to solidify with a ticket link for DC and for that casino show that's going to be at Perryville, Maryland, at the Hollywood Casino in Perryville. So
this shit's exciting, man. You're doing a lot of awesome shit.
Yeah, and
he's growing.
It's funny because he came up to me in the churn and he's like, "So at the Elton show, his brother, who's from further south in Maryland on Kent Island, I think, he's like, hey, you remember how my brother brought his friend who runs this bar or restaurant or whatever with him to the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, Matt." There were 170 people in that room. I remember. But he's like, he asked my brother, who asked me, he's like, hey, why don't they do a show at our place? So Matt gave him available dates. I don't know exactly where that place is, but somewhere down on the eastern shore of Maryland, there's probably going to be a show. That will probably get sorted out this week or next as well. I mean, this is the end of July, so there's plenty of time for us to iron all this stuff out. But Matt's bringing his family out, so my guess is that he's going to want to keep a day open.
Right.
But other than that, we're trying to fill every single date on that tour. So, hey, if you are somewhere relatively within an hour of one of those venues, so if you're in Northern Virginia or if you're in Central Pennsylvania or something like that, and you're seeing a day that's not on there booked with a show that might make sense for us to come and do a venue that you're connected with, hit us up. We will do what we can to make that work for everybody. We'd love to add another show. Like I said, for the most part, I think that we're trying to keep a day open for Matt.
Nice.
But other than that, rock on. Let us know.
Yeah.
So send us all your stuff.
Get out, see some shit, see some magic, see some stuff. And I'll tell you, man, Elton is becoming a hub of magic in the northeastern sector.
Yeah,
they're going to give New York a run for their money.
I mean, hey, the other night I was at P&T show with some other people, one of which was a guy that was there that actually is an entertainment attorney, originally from Maryland, now living in southern Delaware, who his focus is really with musicians and making connections to, similar thing to what I'm doing, where he's trying to book at a local venue down there, music acts. There is a new music venue that's going to be opening up in Elkton end of July. So I've linked the two of them together to help make that happen. And that new music venue also wants to book magic, which leads me to believe that, hey, maybe we can reverse that stream,
right,
and start booking some magic down there. So as we start, all of this has been, the easier way. If I'm bringing somebody in from the West Coast or wherever they're from to do one show, it is what it is. But if I could say, hey, by the way, come do Elkton and I'll link you up with this in Delaware and that in Baltimore or that in Philly, and they end up coming to the East Coast and doing 2 shows, 3 shows, 4 shows, it makes life so much easier. And those venues are such that there's not really an overlap in the audience. We get people that will travel to Elkton to see the shows, but again, and vice versa.
Professional versus amateur. You'll be able to do.
You
become professionals. You'll be doing the same show for different folks.
Exactly.
Look at you becoming a professional. Look at my boy Judgmentalist growing up and becoming a professional.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, folks, we thank y'all for listening. Shout out if you're a new listener. I ran into a bunch of new folks this trip on Vegas that I hooked to a podcast. I've been sharing the swag. So if you've gotten swag and you caught this episode, this is a shout out to you. Here's what I also want to look at doing. We're creeping up on episode 30, which means from there we're 20 episodes away from episode 50. So, math.
20 plus 30
is 50, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is by episode 50, I want to have, even maybe have it beforehand, maybe episode 40, some milestone episode, I want to have a shout out segment.
Yeah.
Unlike right now, because we don't have Patreon, we don't have any of the subscription, whatever, so you can't not yet. We'll get there where you can give us money. But right now, I just want to shout out any supporters who are listeners. So if you're a listener and you want to get shout out on that segment, you got to send us a message. Send us an email.
Send us an email
at bigsexygmail at bigsexynomad at gmail.com. My brain is.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Where are you from? And we don't need your address or social security number, but if you're going to send that, the bank pin would be helpful as well. And what episode was the first episode? Have you been listening since episode 1? Did you jump in at episode 20? Did you, whatever it is, give us kind of a perspective on where you are. There's really only going to be 50 episodes by the time that we do this shout out. So,
right.
Maybe this is the first episode, 20, whatever this is.
So yeah, and again, this is us, our general. We do calls to action, and we have really cool nuggets always. So you need to listen to the entire podcast to catch the great nuggets of wisdom that we throw out. And you stream down our way, we will stream down your way. We'll shout you guys out. And if you're a listener, if you're a listener and you got some shit to promote, shoot us an email and let us know, and we'll put it out to our handful of listeners as well, because you never know who's paying attention.
Absolutely.
Or whose ear we may have, because we every now and then end up having the ears of some pretty cool people. So yeah, let us know.
All right, kids, till next time. Safe travels.